Marlene Dietrich died a decade ago, loathing Berlin because many in her hometown had treated her as a traitor. Yet that didn't stop the city from toasting the film star as the celebrations marked her 100th birthday, which occurred on Thursday, December the 27th. During December 2001, a wave of museum exhibits, musical galas and television documentaries celebrated the life of the sultry diva Marlene Dietrich. She was Germany's last international movie star. Born Marie Magdalena Dietrich on December the 27th, 1901, the actress became the quintessential blonde bombshell and took on her famous stage name at the age of 20. She struggled through the roaring 20s in local theatres as a singer and small-time actress. Marlene made her film debut in 1923. Later, she had a breakthrough with her signature performance as a vamp in The Blue Angel in 1930. It's interesting to note that this was one of Europe's first sound films. That role, as Berlin cabaret singer Lola Lola, in Joseph von Sternberg's film shot in both German and English, launched her career and paved the way for her move to Hollywood. Her husky voice, high cheekbones and gloriously long legs electrified cinema audiences for decades. Dietrich's career was formed by the decadent film and theatre scene of pre-war Berlin, but she became famous after moving to the United States, gaining US citizenship in 1937. She continued to rebuff attempts by Hitler's Nazis, urging her to return to Germany, and later dressed in an American uniform for performances for the troops on the front line during World War II. Her singing helped on the home front of the USA too, as she recorded a number of anti-Nazi records in German for the OSS, including Lili Marleen, a curious example of a song transcending the hatreds of war. When asked why she had done this in spite of the obvious danger of being within a few kilometers of German lines, she replied, "Aus Anstand." It was the decent thing to do. Dietrich was awarded the Medal of Freedom by the US government for her war work. The Nazis denounced Dietrich for consorting with Jews, namely the many actors and artists who, like her, had fled abroad. And yet the Nazis made discreet approaches to persuade her to return. When she did go back home for a concert in 1960, she was greeted by scattered protests, with some demonstrators even spitting at her. Even though Dietrich only returned to Germany twice after the war, in 1947 and 1960, she nevertheless chose Berlin as her final resting place after the 1989 fall of the Berlin Wall. Marlene did marry. However, that ended in divorce, and in the 1950s she had relationships with Edward R. Murrow, Yul Brynner and Frank Sinatra, and she was also involved with President John F. Kennedy. She was a recluse in the latter decades of her life and died peacefully of natural causes on May 6, 1992, at the age of 90, in Paris. Her burial in Berlin was marked by controversy, and an official civic ceremony was cancelled because of the lingering resentments. Dietrich's grave has been desecrated at times and may demonstrate that resentment even remains today. Attempts by local fans of the diva in her home district of Schöneberg to rename a section of the street in which she was born to Marlene Dietrich Strasse was blocked in 1996 by resistance from die-hard opponents. Spurred in part by the negative international media coverage of that embarrassment, city officials instead named a square near Potsdamer Platz in the center of Berlin after her, Marlene Dietrich Platz.